Hey, you silly gooses! Welcome to Crowdfunding Countdown, where we take a look at every single board game campaign. Finishing up this week, that's what's happening. It's different from what we do or what we've been doing in the last 90, where I just make bad puns and try to hold on to any sense of self-worth. No, this week, we're gonna look at the board games for once. Finally, it's happened. But before we do that, I want to give a huge shout out to my newest patrons, Andrew and Hubris. Hubris 1, to be clear. Hubris 1. Hubris 2 was too good for it. Hubris 2 is way far and above donating to my Patreon. But I appreciate Hubris 1 for stepping down and coming on board, and Andrew as well. And all of my patrons, thank you so much for jumping on board and supporting the channel. It really means a lot. It allows me to keep on deluding myself that I'm able to provide one single chuckle, and that one day I will finally get the approval of my parents that I so desperately crave. It's all because of you. So thank you everybody who supports the channel. Thank you everyone who's watching and who's liked and subscribed. Appreciate it. And let's get on right away to the week, starting out with Gemble. Your morning Gemble on the Sunday morning Gemble in the newspaper. Gemble is a push your luck card and dice game for 2 to 4 players. Players take turns rolling the dice and gambling to collect suits of gem cards. At the end of the game, the cards collected matching players' private goals will add points to their scores, while other cards will subtract points. Cool. All right, sure. It's only 71 backers, but it only had a goal of $1,000, and it's over on GameFound. I like gambling. Too much, my parole officer says. Is the parole officer going to be a new character? Probably. No video, but hopefully they have a rulebook. Read the rules. Thank you. Oh, beautiful. See? GameFound. That's how you do it. I hate when examples in the rulebooks show you, like, the least optimal decision that this person could have made. Anyway, it's a very simple game. It doesn't seem that interesting to me, honestly. You roll a dice. If you roll something that's in the middle, you take it. Way to go. If you don't, then you can place a bet. And how do you place a bet? You roll another dice, and you try to match the symbol on your cards. You say, hey, I'm betting my yellow. And then if you rolled a 2, you could take any card that you wanted from the middle. I don't know why you would bet your yellow when you could have bet your 2 blue with a 5 and a 2. Oh, that's probably why. Maybe that's not the most optimal. You get more chances, but you also get more chances that all of your stuff will go into the middle. I do like that it's not yellow cards in the middle, it's citrine cards from the middle. So it just seems like there's going to be a lot of dice rolling and not a lot of fun? I don't know, I can see the thrill of betting and trying to hit your bet, etc. You just want to get 6 of one color. That's Gemble. If it feels interesting to you, check it out. That finishes Wednesday, May 24th at 7 p.m. Moving along to Forgotten Depths, the Ever Chamber and other adventures with 4 fantastic expansions to enhance your game and a reprint of the base game. Co-op Dungeon Adventure. Okay, this might actually be a game. I mean, these guys are just the Skeksis from the Dark Crystal, right? We know this. Gelfling, please. Please, Gelfling, we want peas. Please. See, they're just the Skeksis. Please, Gelfling, please. It looks all right. I mean, I do like Skeksis, but Chimerics, no. They're saying this one's coming with 4 new little expansions. You can find Yariq, and then you can also have just a histories, extra little passages of cards, and then camp dialogue. That's all you get. You just get to you get to read a little story. I don't know why you need a rules booklet. You go from number 1 and then you pull the next card. That's very clearly what it is. I like that this box is going to be smaller. I love this. The original box was sized to fit a beautiful plastic insert made to hold the entire game sleeved. Some people liked that, but many people did not. Great. Rulebook is more efficient. That's awesome. I don't know why you wouldn't put a link to it literally right there when you're talking about the rulebook so people can see it for themselves. Like some people, it just doesn't make any sense because I don't care about all these buzzwords. I'd like to just actually read about the game, please. There we go. Rulebook is almost at the bottom. That's the place for it. Here's your task with locating and gathering artifacts of magic and technology that may benefit the remnant of humankind they call family. That's kind of fun. Gameplay alternates back and forth between two main activities, exploring and encountering. While exploring, so that's going to be where you're doing the tile placement element to it, and then encountering, you decide which elements you will encounter. Okay, so each one of these little map tiles, which have to be connected together, these are actually 4 put together in a beautiful arrangement. They're going to have these different symbols on them, and so those symbols will trigger whatever there. You got monsters, you got features, you got doors, and so you're going to lay this out, and then you're going to go explore. But what are the encounters like? All right, all of these encounters are just, you're going to draw a card, just a regular card. Well, not a regular card, a card relating to their encounter. It's combat like. You couldn't have arms. No, the final entity, because you're going to go through and explore and try to get to the subterranean level, and then you're going to face the final boss and beat the final boss. You win. Because the final entity is composed of 4 cards. A head 1 card, a head 2 card, a body card, and the tail card. No arms, no legs. There's 2 heads, a body, and a tail, which it's balancing itself upon, I can only assume. It doesn't seem like it's that hard a monster. I mean, it does have 2 heads and this gigantic tail that's jumping at you like a pogo stick. I take it back. That would be a terrifying monster. You know it's just going to body slam you. Oh, and you lose if you draw a map tile that cannot be placed legally as well. So you got to be mindful about building that sort of stuff out. Also, probably kind of like running out the clock. If you don't explore enough, you lose. I don't know why they're telling me how to make the game harder and easier when you haven't talked about combat yet. You do get to face great named monsters like Sootbeak, coincidentally my nickname in high school. I didn't know. It's my first time I've been included in a game. You didn't know that there was a Room and Board crossover, did you? Old Sootbeak is at it again, ready to, minorly inconvenience you. Gives you the dark clamp. Autocorrect him, sure. So the combat is just sort of action card driven. But it's not action card. It is an action card because they just had numbers on them. They don't show this in this rule book, but I know this because it was on this campaign page of like an example of combat-ish. So you're just playing cards that have numbers on them, which that doesn't seem that exciting to me, honestly. How much does it cost? Reprint items, $12. One backer just getting the camp dialogue. Because one person wants to know what's going on at camp. They really are interested in purchasing and printing those cards and having definitely night of gameplay in there. All expansions are $39. Yeah, because they got 4 expansions. $45 for the base game. It's 61 Canadian. All in with your base game and all expansions, 79, like $100 Canadian. Nah, I don't think this is even worth the 45, honestly. Especially not with this sort of shipping. US, $23. Canada, $34, right? Like that puts it $100. It's a lot. We've spent a lot of time on it too. I don't know. I just think it's, the laying of the tiles seems interesting. But other than that, like exploring this feels fine. The combat doesn't feel interesting though. And that's part of the encounter phase. Yeah, I'm not that interested. But if you're interested, check it out. Finish it. It's Thursday, May 25th at 8:06 a.m. I don't have too much more to say about it, honestly. So let's move on. Moving along to All-Time Wrestling Extreme Edition. Can you survive the barbed wire exploding death match? Well, just the fact that they use death match means I'm interested. ATW goes extreme with a standalone expansion featuring RVD, Raven, and Sabu. Some people were talking about this recently. I forget where, but I know people were talking about it. So I'm excited to check it out. I remember who was talking about it now. Me! I was talking about it because we covered it in Crowdfunding Countdown at some point because I saw their video and they recapped all the people who enjoyed it, and I definitely watched like 2 or 3 reviews about it because I couldn't understand what was going on, and you know what? I've forgotten every single bit about it since then. So that should tell you pretty much where I'm sitting on it. And then you give some artwork like that, and I say, well, immediately, it's an immediate back. Oh, right, because it's just a very clear cameo, right? Because it's got cameo in the corner. $34 for the new one, which just gives you 4 people, which I like, or the same as the base game. It's all about chaining things together, right, for this one? That's what that is. I'm remembering now. Download 2-player mode rules. It's the regular rules. There's nothing other than the 2-player mode. I mean, you can add in solo and 4-player, but you're not going to do it. And if you're going to do it, well, you shouldn't be doing it. You should be playing a better something else for those player counts. I hate this when I know I've already covered it It was a year ago. May 24th to the 31st. That's when it came up. See? Just listen to this guy.
What'd you just say? Yucky, yucky. I'm not interested.
Slippery Jim way back then said that he wanted these. He wasn't interested in these oily men until he realized how expensive they were and to shut up and take his little moist money. And honestly, you know, sometimes I think I do poor work, and then I look back and I realize, no, I'm the best in the business. That was a good week, honestly. It had Raw. Raw was back then. Tiny Epic Vikings. Through Ice and Snow. Blade Runner the campaign. May 24th to the 31st last year was significantly better than May 24th to the 31st this year. I can already tell you that. But it is the same week. Way to go, All Time Wrestling. You did it. I do like this because you have the initiative until you yield it. And so you can either gain 3 stamina and lose your initiative, draw a card, lose your initiative, or you play an attack card. And you play an attack card, and you play an attack card, and you wham them, and you slam them, and you get your sick pythons, Hulk Hogan style, all over their planes. That was the real Snakes on a Plane. That was the first one before the plagiarism, the plagiarism. See, now I remember that I'm just a horrible piece of garbage. Yeah, you just kind of go back and forth, playing cards, trying to block the other cards and rolling dice to see if you hit, right? People seem to like it. I think there's something to be said about having a wrestling-themed card game that you can just get silly with it, really. I think that's a potential benefit. It's $34 US or 46 Canadian, and then shipping. Shipping's going to be $9. That's not bad. $9 US and the UK, 14 to Canada. You know it's going to be a bit of a smaller box. It's just cards, but it seems like they have a nice production quality. Honestly, the best of the bunch so far. You picked a good week, All Time Wrestling. Anyway, if you're interested in that, that finishes Thursday, May 25th at 11:30 a.m. Let's move along to more things Shelfside has reviewed, and that is Skytear Horde Monolith, which is a standalone expansion and reprint of the solo and co-op card battler backed by 4,000 players and delivered in just about a year. Yeah, they're delivering it right now. Actually, one of the benefits of being part of the Room Board Patreon is they were going to send me a copy because I did a review on Skytear Horde way back last year, and I said, you know what? I'm not that much of a solo player. A lot of people in my Discord and on Patreon are solo players, so I gave it to one of them. Hey, I'm not going to ever do that again, but I'm going to tell you right now that I might. I might. Maybe. Maybe we will. I'm never going to do it. But if you don't sign up for Patreon, well, I'm going to do it every week. Skytear Horde was a fun one. I enjoyed Skytear Horde. I have a review on Skytear Horde. It's a tower defense. It's a tower defense game. Lane battling tower defense. You're choosing where you're going to put your people. They cost a certain amount of mana. And you can choose like a deck archetype. They're pre-constructed decks that you all feel different. So in the first one, in the prototype that I had the regular base one that just do basic things. And then you had like the shaman, the tree one, which they ramped up. And they're all about growth and drawing cards, but if you run out of cards, you lose, so you're managing how many cards you can draw on, like the big trees that you can bring into play. And then there's the red deck, which was like the ninjas, and they were really squishy, and you just had to win immediately, or you would burn in the fiery pits of Mount Doom. Players say, it feels like Hearthstone or Magic, except it's solo or co-op. I'm not one of those players. I don't think it felt like Hearthstone. I think it felt like a tower defense. I don't think Hearthstone feels like a tower defense, personally, even though I guess it is. Your tower is just your face. Set up, play, and put away in just 30 minutes or less? Yeah, I'd say 40. I'd say 40. And competitive game where the Horde player feels like a DM, aka someone who's just running the game. Don't play this competitively. I would play it solo. You can play it co-op. I didn't end up playing it co-op. I think I heard it was okay at co-op. And I'd be interested in playing it at co-op, but it feels like it was designed primarily for solo play. And I think that's a good thing. I think I like games that are solo only. Probably because a lot of my community is solo players, and I like you all to have fun. I hope you're having a wonderful day. 16 ready-made decks. Oh, that's because there was 4, and then there was an additional 4, I think. See, Skytear Horde was designed as a solo game first. Yeah, it was, and it shows in its design. Yeah, 8 decks, and then there's going to be, in Skytear Horde Monolith, 8 new decks. You have the base 3, and then there's an exclusive one, blah, blah, blah. The other thing, oh, it's just going through the different cards. It's cool. Yeah, these were the decks that were in the base game. This is the Alliance. You can see the Shamans, and then you can see the Ninjas, right? Yeah, here are the Ninjas. And then the Nepotist Illusionists. I think that's how they're called. Oh, see, look at that art. Oh no, these are the Horde decks. These are what you're facing. Right, because you can smash things together, but you're not really gonna... I do like these, though. It takes up a number of lanes. You gotta control the lanes. It was fun. You can go watch my review on it. What do we got here? What's the price? Monoliths gameplay all in. Get the retail box of Monoliths and 3 exclusive expansions. I wish this was structured in a better way. Because, like, I've played this game, and with all this new terminology, I don't know which one I would want to pick. That's why you go with gameplay all in. That's what you do, which is also the cheapest. $50 plus shipping, which is what? 14 euros. So it's like 65 bucks. That's like $80 Canadian. That's a lot. That's really a lot. This is something where if it was like 40, you know, I want to see it in that like 30 to 40 range. Each deck would be like 10 bucks or something like that. I feel like that was potentially reasonable. It's expensive. Go watch the review, though, if this idea of a lane battler that is claiming to be Hearthstone, but I don't think it is. I think it's its own thing. I like the little minions that always come forth. That's what I remember liking a lot about this one. If you are interested, though, that finishes on the 25th at 12 p.m. noon. And then moving along to Guards of Atlantis II, also on the 25th, finishing at 4. This claims to be tabletop MOBA, multiplayer online battle arena. Don't miss your chance to get your copy. I'm not gonna. Good preview by Shut Up and Sit Down on this page. How much have you raised? $727,000. Well, you didn't get a 5 reasons, but you're close. This is a 2v2 or 3v3 game. That's what it says specifically. I don't see why you couldn't play it 1v1, but apparently you can't. And I wouldn't want to go against the Guards of Atlantis II. Love that they're saying you can try it on Tabletopia. No retail plans. Hard to find. €59. Oh, that can't be for the box that I saw. See those little plastic abominations. Second printing rulebook available right here. Love that. Yes, download it. Here's where they get you, though. You see the base game with all these heroes, and then a bunch of hero packs with more heroes. Really nicely laid out, though. It tells you what you should first start with if you just want to get one. I'm quite impressed with this campaign page. Yeah. You go from... That's been pledged 1,705 times. This has been pledged 1,153 times. Yeah, this first base game includes everything to play with 2 to 6 players. You're going to get 7 heroes, and so the heroes are the ones that you will have abilities. What I really liked about the abilities in here is when you level up. I think my favorite thing about this is that when you level up, each card has, like, you know, your initiative, when it goes, stats, whatever, what it does. But when you level up, you get to choose, you know, which path of the tech tree you're going to go on, and whatever you don't acts as kind of like a little item. And those are on the bottom. So you have those dual choices. It probably is not going to be as impactful as one would think, but I like that idea of give and take multi-purpose cards. I really like multi-purpose cards, and the fact that this implements them feels neat. You're going to run around the map trying to punch each other in the face. That's basically the game. Card play as the defining factor, revealing who goes first, who gets to attack when, deciding if you're going to go quicker or if you're going to build up for that slow attack. They'll still be within range. If you like that sort of thing, then it's worth checking out. Big box fatigue is a real thing, and it was setting in quite a bit. And the fact that this is sitting for 59, I mean, it's still like $100 Canadian, let's be real, but what's the shipping? Shipping for the base game is expensive, 22, 32 to Canada, so it's like 91 euros, 120 bucks for the base game, right? Less excited now. I wish the shipping was like a bit cheaper, but 59 euros for a fun little skirmish game, it's not a horrible price these days. It really isn't. And there's enough there that if this is your jam, if you like these skirmish style, feels pretty neat. So if you're interested in that, check that out. It finishes on the 25th at 4 p.m. Yeah, that's why I paused it up there to talk about my favorite thing, but there we are. We're moving along. Moving along to Ninja Sloths. I mean, I hope this is good. I hope it's good. I mean, who doesn't like cute sloths? Everybody likes cute sloths. That's the #1 reason this game is doing well. A card game of stealth, stealing, and slowpokes, strategy, stealing, laughs, all in 20 minutes to play, ages 7 to 120. They're pushing the limit. It's not 100 plus, it's 120. If you are 120, you can play it. How old was the oldest woman again? Kane Tanaka. Oh, Kane Tanaka died last year. Damn, I remember that. And she was 119. 119. The oldest person whose age has been independently verified is Jean Calment, pronounced like that of France, as the French people do, who lived to the age of 122 years. Oh, ninja sloths. Oh, how dare you. Madame Calment is rolling in her grave right now, because if she was alive, I'm glad she passed away. Honestly, I'm glad she didn't live to see this. She didn't live to see herself be excluded from being a ninja and or a sloth. Oh, how dare you. Shame on you, ninja sloths. Shame on you, you sloths. Oh, look at you. Just look at you. Look at you, ninja sloths. Look at you, ninja sloths. Just look at you, ninja sloths. Shame on you. 122 2 years she was denied the joy of slothing it up. Take a look at yourself, ninja sloths. Shame on you. Okay, I'm done. It's just a big take that fest by Boss Dog Games. Do they have a history? Let's see. They have a history of I should have known. I should have known. I should have known. Thank goodness you've moved on to cuddlier creatures. It seems wild to me though, like they've done really well. Some of these take that card games do incredibly well. Some of them do middling. And I have no idea how that happens. It's one of those games where you pick up cards, you play cards, they do things, you know? You're trying to steal gems. But, haha, I can stop you, and haha, I can counter your action with cards in my hand. Feels very basic. It's a price point, but it's 20 bucks. It's 20 bucks. There you go. That's about, the price that you would expect. Of course, then it's 27 Canadian, and then there's shipping on that, and then it's $40 for a very simple take that game that doesn't really do too much new compared to all the others like it. Sorry, but I'm not sorry. I'm not even going to look at the shipping. I'm so surprised that this is doing so well and has raised so much money, and then you look at other great games that don't raise nearly as much as this. I don't get it. But hey, let me know if you're backing it and why I should love it and why I'm an idiot for talking smack about it. Well, you know what? Somebody's got to honor Madame Clement's memory, okay? Look at you, ninja sloths. Let's move on to Clank. Oh, I forgot that Clank was even in the docket this week. It's been so long going through these already. Clank Legacy 2, Acquisitions Incorporated, Darkest Magic. The beloved Clank Legacy returns with an epic sequel, co-op and competitive play in the world of Penny Arcade's Acquisitions Incorporated. It's raised almost $1 million Canadian, and that's fantastic. I'm going to watch the video just because I like Clank. But I've heard great things about the first one. If you don't have the first one and you're interested in this, just think about the first one. Because the first one apparently was really good, and I wish I was playing it instead of some other campaign games. But I've only heard really good things from people who like it. I've heard Clank Catacombs is really good. Clank itself is just a solid game. It's a good game. I'm happy that I own my copy of Clank, and I always have enjoyed all of my plays of it. I enjoy it more as you go along because like the race and how you move in and get out, and like my main issue is that you could just sit at the top before you get out and keep on taking things over and over and over again until you're ready to jump out, and it kind of devolves into this waiting push your luck game, which I find kind of not in the spirit of race to get the treasure and then race out. But other than that, I think Clank's a good game. I've heard really good things about the first one. Let's check out the second one. Tells you nothing about the game, and I'm fine with it. 99 bucks, MSRP 125. See, Clank Legacy, Acquisitions Incorporated, sold out, but it was 100 bucks Canadian at 401 Games. Feels like you should just do that. I understand so much about this pitch, the 179. You're getting the first one for 80 bucks. So yeah, that I guess translated to Canadian, that seems to track. I get it, but I don't think this is ever the pitch you should do, because it's $250 Canadian. You're signing up for 2 legacy experiences. If you haven't played the first one, just go play the first one. Like, don't do this bundle. I think this bundle is so bad, and there are 1,000 people who have been swept up in the hype because they want this bundle. Just get one of them. It's done well. It will be in stores. Just get one of them. Honestly, though, you should get one of them. I've heard such good things about Clank Legacy. It's on, my list of things that I'd love to get to and love to try. And it's a great system. So I can't fault anybody who wants this, seriously. I hate how this is being marketed as the first standalone expansion, Clank in space. It's just a reskin. It's not an expansion. It's a reskin with a different board. That's what it is. I need to get some of the expansions for Clank, except I don't because I can just play base Clank. Shipping, what's the shipping like? To the US, $10. Reasonable. Oh, US Zone 1, $10. Oh, I see. See where it's located. Canada, 16, 17. Easier to get to Quebec, huh? Europe, 11. That feels reasonable. I don't know. This excites me, though. I was getting tired. And now I'm excited just thinking about Clank. Like, I didn't even read anything about it. I just was like, oh yeah, Clank Legacy exists. That's also something to note about, like, these crowdfunding countdowns. Again, like, keep watching them, please. Please, I'm desperate for it. But this is just, your constant reminder that most of these games on crowdfunding are not going to be as good as the ones that you have your eyes on in the retail stores that have wide release. Just not. It's just the fact of doing business, just not going to be as good. There's a reason they have wide release. It's because people keep buying them. Anyway, let's move on to Anarchy. Trust no one. This hasn't hit its goal yet, but we'll look at it because it's pretty close. Anarchy is a fantasy-themed political intrigue game putting a twist on the classic social deduction genre. Love it. I love social deduction. Trust no one. Not even myself. I'm intrigued because they say resource management, but I'm less intrigued if there's player elimination. Rulebook. There we go. Or was it 1/3? 3/8 down the page? Okay, this is interesting. So you're either one of 4 things. There are 4 resources, and you have a goal to maximize one of those resources. That's your goal. And then the anarchists, their goal is to reduce one of them completely to 0. So basically, if you're not an anarchist, you don't want anything to go to 0. And then I assume the events will be, hey, well, let's just read about them. But I'm calling it that the events are just like, hey, we're going to lower this resource to bump this resource up, right? Charters often reduce one resource to increase the other. There we go. Then there's disasters, where it just subtracts resources. And then there's an assassination, where you can remove a player from the game. I don't like that you're removing a player from the game. If any of the Kingdom's 4 resources hit 0, then it's Anarchy. And the player whose resource is the highest wins alongside the anarchists. So you just get yours up once, and then you tank everybody else's. That's then how you break the game. Seems okay. $30 though, which is 41 Canadian, and then plus shipping. Shipping $8.25. All right, 38. Still like 50 or 60. Which, get the Avalon big box instead. Sorry, gonna be better. Let's move on to the Button Shy reprint campaign. Yeah, because that was quick. We gotta move on. We gotta keep moving. This one is just a reprint of some long-lost fan-favorite wallet games, all games chosen by the fans. Button Shy does this a bunch. 5 games of your choice from the available games. Let's see what the available games are. No idea. Game 4? We'll add another game. Circle the Wagons, Sprawlopolis, Liberation Expansions, Tussie Mussy. Nice. Elizabeth Hargrave did Tussie Mussy, who made Wingspan. Skulls of Sedlick. Good. Cool. I actually know kind of these. Skulls of Sedlick and Sprawlopolis. Those are the 2 that I think are the most interesting. Those are the add-ons. Oh, then you don't want to know why they're the add-ons? Because Circle the Wagons, Count of the 9 Estates, Liberation, Pentaquark, and Forest Sky, all of the ones that I didn't talk about, those are the actual games. And these are just add-ons because they're their hits. You can also always go to Button Shy's website and just order them. For me, I don't own any Button Shy games. I don't know if I will own any Button Shy games. I appreciate the concept for people wanting to take games on the go in their pocket, but I just take a bag and I take bigger games. You know what I mean? Skulls of Sedlick was a fine way to pass the time. You're kind of building a pyramid. You're building your own little pyramid against somebody else. I played it at Origins with Todd. You all know Todd. Hey, Todd. Okay, I went down a rabbit hole there. Went down a Button Shy rabbit hole. Yeah, because I was trying to think, because I played Skulls of Sedlick and I enjoyed it. do I enjoy it enough to pick it up? $10? $10 is fine. $10 is a good game, good price for a pocket game. If you pay $10 for Love Letter, you're getting the same quality out of Skulls of Sedlic, right? Like, that's about the weight of it. I just don't know where it would come out to play, you know? If it's ever on the shelf, I'm not pulling out a Button Shy. I think the key for Button Shy is on airplanes. I think if you travel on airplanes, well, Sprawlopolis is probably too big for the tray. Like, it's only 18 cards, right? So if you travel on airplanes, I was thinking about this when I was traveling to Vegas back and forth, and I was thinking about what games could play well on airplane trays. I want to make a video about that. That could be a fun video. Anyway, Button Shy has another campaign. All of their games you can get, you know, $1 off or $5 off a bundle. Just go to the website, I feel. It's nice. I think it's great that they are reprinting favorites and that they're listening to fans and that you can go and be involved in that. And then this is where you can get it if you're looking for those ones specifically. But you probably want to get their hits first. And how many Button Shy games do you need? Let's be real. But still, like that it exists. Happy that it's happening. If you're interested, that finishes on the 27th at 10:30 a.m. Moving along to the 28th, Sunday, we have Murders at Tealwoods Manor. I don't know if this is going to fund. I don't think it's going to fund. You can see its funding goal right here. It's a small funding goal, 14,000 Australian, that's like 10,000 US. 52 backers. If you don't know Murders at Tealwoods Manor, well, you're an awful person, because that means you haven't seen Barrow Townsend on the loose in a Murder Most Mustard. I thought I would get Murder Most Mustard. Wow, this looks like that looks like a good playthrough. People should go watch that playthrough and then back the game. We did a playthrough of it. This was a paid playthrough. And so keep that in mind. Keep that in mind that I have received money in exchange to cover this campaign. I think that's important for you to know when I talk about me enjoying it. I also think it's tough because it's $70 Australian, which makes a huge sticker shock, but it's also $50 US, right? Plus 16 US shipping. That's not bad. It's not great for what the size of the box would be. I would hope that it would be 10, but it's just like who you can get to ship, because this is a smaller run. You're going to pay higher prices, right? Oh, and if it gets 100% funding, like shipping goals are cheaper shipping are stretch goals, which is great. How's it doing? Oh, that's nice. Thanks, Kyle. Thanks for the shout out, Kyle. I also love that's basically the designer. That's the designer as a character. So the problem here, and the reason why I think it's not going to fund, is because it's expensive. It is expensive, especially because you're just getting clue tokens. And I was hoping that it would stay in that smaller box that we got as the prototype. I think it being at 50, I thought it would be cheaper than Fractured Sky Retail Edition, and Fractured Sky Retail Edition is cheaper by $1. You should have gone for the 49. People love a 49. You're being too honest. A flat rate 70? No. Go for the 69. I just heard it. This is a game that I really enjoyed. This is a game that I think I will keep. I mean, honestly, I have a game that never went to print called Letter Drop. Letter Drop right here, which you may have seen featured on the Rabies if you didn't see the review of it. I put out the review because I thought the game was coming out, and then it didn't end up coming out, but I still have the review up on the channel. That's a great game, and I think Murder at Tealwoods Manor is also a really fun game as well. So I hope, if it doesn't fund now, that the creator figures out a way to cut production costs down as far as they can go. Maybe cut that board that says Host Investigator Murderer. I don't know. Whatever you can do to cut costs, get it to that like $30 US range. I feel like if it's at the $30 US range, people might pull the trigger. I hope it will succeed, but in terms of the pace that it's going at, maybe it won't. All I can say is that I quite enjoyed it as well. And I just had a friggin' blast. Like, obviously I'm skewed by the playthrough that we did. But even before then, I was like, you know what, this is a good game. Gives me Fractured Sky vibes. And it's something that I can see myself pulling out quite legitimately. So check that out. Go give the campaign some love. That finishes Sunday, May 28th at 7 a.m. If you want to support a smaller creator, this is your time. Moving along to Drakerion trading card game. I don't know if we're going to look at this. I'm just going to say the same thing that I always do, that trading cards are stupid. Although, you know what? not a bad price for a starter deck. Usually they're stupider. €16, 24 bucks Canadian. Usually they're stupider. Usually they're like this for 5 starter decks, 75 bucks. I mean, all trading card games are the same. Why new ones are constantly popping up, I'm not sure, but it's raised €123,000, so what the hell do I know? Except 305 people have raised €123,000. So it means, on average, the average person has spent $403 on this campaign page. That's what that math means, aka friggin' money laundering, maybe? I don't know. That's what it seems like. There can't be that many game stores who want to just go in. Just adding an S or a C to make it rare or common. Like, get out of here. Alright, yeah. Shouldn't have even clicked on it. Let's keep moving. We don't have too much more left this week. It's been rough. But here we have Lindyhop, the card game. A cooperative card game for 2 people about swing dancing. I love this as a theme. I hope this is fun. Let's check this one out. Honestly, this video is putting a huge smile on my face. I love watching people just have fun and dance. I just do. They just look like they're having a good time. Lindyhop, and Lindyhop has got to be one of the most joyful dances out there. It's not really telling me anything about how to play the game. They're just showing the same combinations of cards being put down over and over and then showing people dancing. But doesn't matter. People are having fun Lindy hopping, and therefore I'm having fun. And I am thrilled that this has crossed its goal. Oh, look, we got a 4 and a 2 this time. I guess we're going to see some more Lindy hopping. Come on, get that hop going. Hoptacular, some might say. Thanks, Diana, Rob, Mark, Chris, and Luella. You guys are fantastic dancers. Brighten my night. Love it so much. What is this about? Dance originating in 1928 in the black communities in Harlem. I didn't know that. Can be played on a small table in a cafe. Not an airplane, though. 25 minutes. 5 suits with 8 cards in a suit. Okay, so 40 cards. And each suit includes 4 cards with special powers that will only activate at certain times in the music. Players will try to end their dance in time in the music, and ideally throw a big finish to score them bonus points. So you're trying to get the most points and beat the game. Okay, so you're playing cards. It's a kind of cooperative trick-taking for 2. That's kind of neat. You're playing a card of a suit, and the opposing player plays a card of the same suit if they can, and then you subtract those, you find the difference, and then you move your little meeple 3 spaces. So you're trying to hit certain spots along the track to get points and collect all the tokens. And so you're trying to keep in mind what your partner has already played, and so that's something they can't play. That seems all right. You get to the end and you see how well you danced. The only issue I see is that you only get dealt 2 hands of 5 cards. That means there's 30 cards that aren't there, so there's not really much that you can communicate between the 2 of you, so it feels like you might just be playing a random card and your opponent or your partner is just going to go, I'll play this random card. I don't quite see how you can control the stuff, which is generally what I enjoy doing in trick takings. But hey, you know, you want to print and play, it's $9 Canadian, that's around $7 US. You want a physical copy, it's $30 Canadian, that's like $22 US. Oh, and if you live in Auckland, New Zealand, you can pick it up yourself. Cool. I think this is cute. Where's the shipping information, though? Is it on here? And it does have shipping on it. Okay, thank goodness. $25 New Zealand for shipping, so it works out to be like $50 Canadian for like a pretty simple card game. Probably not worth it. But if you live in Auckland, maybe. If you live in Auckland, New Zealand, maybe. You know what? You know what would save you some money? No matter where you are, if you're getting a copy of Lindyhop, you book a trip to Auckland, New Zealand. It'll save you the shipping, okay? Just book the plane tickets and the hotel and the trip. It'll save you the shipping. I swear. Anyway, that finishes Sunday, May 28th at 4:24 p.m. Moving along just quickly, I clicked on this because it was doing well in its funding, but it's a role-playing game. Sanctuary Dungeon Tales, mystical, natural fantasy setting in a 3D modular dungeon set, 200 plus plastic miniatures. PDF, €25, that's about standard. If you want your 3D dungeon set, it'll be $100. Miniature set, €109, 159 Canadian. Yeah, no, you might as well just buy another game that gives you minis that you can then use for other things. I'm not going to look into this too much because I'm not a huge role-playing person. That is Zach, as you know. Don't worry, the Rulebook Club will be coming back this month. The end of this month, Zach has another edition. I just have to edit it. But yeah, if you like role-playing games, this one's doing fairly well. Likely due to the minis, right? That's the reason. But if you somehow need more miniatures, well, check this one out. That finishes Tuesday. And then also finishing Tuesday is our last one, which, yeah, okay, it's our last one, so I have to talk about it. Orao, Oinked Generation, be the leader of the new mankind in this 1v1 card game. I think you meant to say 2-player head-to-head card game.
So it's just like Duel Monsters.
Thank you. Manage resources on a checkered game field to survive. Oh no, so not like that at all. Sorry, Yugi. Get back in your cell. Your choices are crucial. So, I mean, that video gave me no information other than there are different decks and they have different flavors to them. So let's see if there is a rulebook. Rulebook. Here we go. They just have it right here. That's great. That's what I love. Very simple. Each card has a cost. You pay the cost. That makes sense. It says there's sections on the field to represent your resource pile. Just you put them on a board. Each one will have a stat, and that's how the battle happens. Highest number wins. You also have missions that you're trying to accomplish. So it's like play one character from the discard pile. If you're able to do that, you get some stuff. Oh, for the complete rulebook, go further down. Here we go. Rulebook. So 2 ways to win. Opponent doesn't have any reinforcements and suffers an attack on their leader, so your leader can be defended. You just have to keep on wailing on each other, basically, is how it feels. Draw 2, you have 6 cards all the time. You have 40 cards in your deck. Oh, there's also different types of Orao to play. I don't know why I'm still reading this. It seems okay, but it doesn't seem that interesting to me just because it's one single battle aspect. I just played Radlands for the first time the other day, and that was fun. If you're looking for a 2-player head-to-head card game, other than, something Yugi might suggest, Radlands was good. It was pretty good, and I could see the potential for a lot of replayability there. And I've been playing some Mindbug as well, which I told them I would review it, so a review is coming. And also good. I think Radlands is better, but I think Mindbug is fine. Also solid. I think both of those are not potentially. I think both of those are guaranteed better than this. But if you're looking for that one, well, it finishes Tuesday, May 30th at 6 p.m. That's it. I'm tired. We're ending this video. But before we do that, every week I have a pick for me and a pick for you. Pick for me is the thing I'm the most interested in. The pick for you is the thing I think would be the best thing. I mean, I want to say Lindyhop. I do. I want to say Lindyhop because they had so much fun dancing, but I can't say Lindyhop. Pick for you. Pick for me, go to the store, get Clank Legacy 1, and play it. Pick for you, go to the store, get Clank Legacy 1, and play it. Or Clank Catacombs. Editing Chris here. I left out Murders at Tealwoods Manor. I think that honestly would be a legitimate pick of the week. I like how it plays. I really did enjoy it. But I do see the comments about the price. Like, on the final thoughts and on our playthrough, people were commenting, hey, this is very expensive for like what you get components wise, and I do agree with that. So I also don't think it's gonna end up funding at this point because they're kind of stuck at that lower portion. So because of that, it's tough for it to get pick of the week status, but it is a contender, you know what I mean? But I do want to give it that sort of shout out because like mechanically really did enjoy it, and I wish it was going to fund, but I don't see that happening. It's a rough week. It's all sort of pretty basic games, and I think there are better ones out there. Sorry. It's a tough market out there, and there's lots of competition, and not a lot here made me stand up and shout. In fact, I think I'm still sitting, so there you go. Anyway, but do let me know what you are backing and what you are not, if things are interesting you, or what games you've been playing recently. I like hearing from you. I just appreciate you all, everybody in the comments, whether you've been here for a little bit or you've been here for a while. I just appreciate you a lot. I do. Renee's singing Give a Little Bit of My Love for You. And you know what? In honor of today, I'm going to give all of my love to you. Renee doesn't get one bit of it. I'm Chris George. And I don't know catchphrase. But I'll see you later.